Alright guys, welcome back to Underground Science, and in this video we'll be going over another type of neuroplasticity called structural potentiation. Alright, so this is a type of neuroplasticity. Okay, so make sure to go and check out my other two videos that I've made so far about neuroplasticity of synaptic potentiation and synaptic depression. Alright, so let's go and jump right into it. Alright, so let's go and draw our neuron again like we've been doing, right? And remember that we're talking about neurons in our brain, right, that are undergoing neuroplasticity. So let's just go and draw our neuron here, right, and its axon. Okay, so we have its axon going here. I don't know why I drew it curvy like that, but we have the axon going there, and then we have our axon terminal and our synapse. All right. And what's going to happen is actually, let me go and finish drawing this, is that we have a postsynaptic neuron here with its dendrites ready to receive the signals, right, of this presynaptic neuron that we just drew. And so these dendrites are right here, just chilling out. And so also we're going to talk about white matter versus gray matter, right, in the central nervous system in another video. So if we want, we can draw dendrites on this too, right? I mean, just remember that these are just, in general, we're talking about neurons in the brain, all right? So we could draw dendrites here also, because it's actually, so the white matter, right, is known as long axons that are myelinated, right? But gray matter in the central nervous system is known as a bunch of cell bodies that have dendrites in it, or dendrites on it also. So that's how you classify gray matter, like in the cerebral cortex, right? But usually white matter is classified as long myelinated axons. So that's why we could draw dendrites here, just to show the basic structure of a neuron. But know that these neurons that we're talking about are going to be part of the brain. Okay, so let's go and look at structural potentiation. So we'll just use the same example we've been using in the previous two videos of synaptic potentiation and depression. Synaptic potentiation and synaptic depression is that, let's say you're learning something new, right? And you start to learn something new, and previously you weren't really finding that many action potentials down here, this neuronal pathway. So when you start to learn something new, I'm sure you've noticed that in the beginning it's hard, right? In the beginning you're slow at it, and sometimes you get frustrated, like, oh man, I'm not moving fast enough. But then you see, over a long period of time, you look back and you're just like, whoa, like, I got way better at this. I'm way faster at it now. I'm learning much more complicated things now, right? And that's because the reason why you're more faster at it could be because of structural potentiation, right? So structural potentiation is known to occur. So structural potentiation, let me go and write this out, is known to occur over a long period of time. All right, so it's known to occur over a long period of time. All right, long period of time. Okay, so it's mostly known to occur over a long period of time. And so the reason why it starts to get easier as you review more and practice more, or practice something more, right? Depending on whether you're learning something new or learning a new song and an instrument, is that over a long period of time it gets easier because now you're firing more action potentials down the specific neuronal pathway. And what happens is that one way of structural potentiation that the nerves or the neurons in your brain undergo is that you'll actually start to build more axon terminals, all right, and synapses on the postsynaptic neuron in your brain. So what I mean by that is now instead of only one axon terminal here, right, this humongous one that I drew, you're going to start to build more axon terminals that kind of look like this and start branching off each other on the dendrites of the postsynaptic neuron, all right? So now you're just not going to have one synapse, you're going to have many, right? And this is a form of structural potentiation. So let's just go and write that down. So one form of structural potentiation is you start to build more synapses, all right? And so why is this good? Is that because instead of one synapse, right, you would release some neurotransmitters as action potentials came down here, right? You'd release some neurotransmitters, but now you have way more synapses, so you release more neurotransmitters for every synapse, right? So now you're releasing neurotransmitters here, neurotransmitters here, neurotransmitters here. And so what you're doing is that you're increasing the chances, right? You're increasing the chances of the postsynaptic neuron to fire an action potential because you have all these neurotransmitters that are going to work together to provide a bunch of positive, if we're talking about excitatory, it's going to provide a bunch of excitatory graded potentials, which is going to help the postsynaptic neuron to reach that threshold potential faster at the axon hillock. And then so it'll help that neuron fire an action potential faster. So in general, structured potentiation allows faster transmission of information along a particular neuronal pathway because of the increased neurotransmitters, right? So it increases the chances of reaching the action potential faster, or reaching the threshold potential faster, so we can fire an action potential faster in the postsynaptic neuron. All right, but that's one way. Another way of structural potentiation is you start to build more dendrites on the postsynaptic neuron. So this type of potentiation, structural potentiation, is occurring on the postsynaptic neuron. So instead of only this X amount of dendrites, we're going to start to build more dendrites. All right, so we're going to start to build even more dendrites here, as you can see. And this is another form of structural potentiation. And remember, structural potentiation is known to happen over a long period of time. All right, and the more dendrites allows more sensitivity for the postsynaptic neuron. So you're able to receive way more signals, and that will cause you to fire an action potential faster. All right, so another form of structural potentiation is you start to build more dendrites, right? In particular, in the postsynaptic neuron. Postsynaptic neuron. And that's why over time, over a long period of time, you notice that you're much faster at something that when you started a long time ago, you were slower at, right? So now you're much better at it. And so let's go and specify this, that you build more synapses on the other type of structural potentiation on the presynaptic neuron. All right, and that's pretty much it for structural potentiation. That's what I wanted to get through in this video. And so I hope this video made sense to you guys. I really hope to see you guys in my future videos where I'll talk about more cool topics about biochem, physics, and chem. And don't forget to hit that notification bell. Couldn't speak there. And don't forget to like, subscribe. See you guys later, and stay safe.